Here's how to beat inflation in 2026. First of all, a 3-year perspective. Bitcoin in 2023 spent about 8 months around $28,000. If you bought it in 2023 around $28,000, you could spend it a year later in 2024 when it spent 8 months around $64,000. If you did that, if you bought it anytime in the broad middle of 2023 and spent it anytime in the broad middle of 2024, everything was 56% off, 56% discounted everything you buy because you're spending $64,000 Bitcoin that you bought for $28,000 Bitcoin. Now, if you didn't start till 2024, Bitcoin spent most of 2024, about 8 months, around $64,000 per coin. Again, within 10% of that, it spent about 8 months within 10% of $64,000. If you bought it then, Bitcoin has spent more time around $107,000 this year than any other price, about 8 months. So again, you could buy Bitcoin at $64,000 in 2024 and spend it in 2025, and everything was 40% off, 40, when you're spending $107,000 Bitcoin that you bought for $64,000. All right, right now, Bitcoin is $87,000. You can buy Bitcoin at $87,000 right now. Wait for it to appreciate to above $127,000 in 2026, which should happen sometime in probably the first quarter of 2026, maybe the second quarter, but probably first quarter of 2026. It'll be a new record high above $126,000, and you will be getting a 31% discount on everything you buy because you will be spending Bitcoin that you bought for $87,000 for a price above $127,000. But what if you are the unlucky soul who bought Bitcoin at the very tip top? So you just happen to be the very person who bought Bitcoin for $126,185. The highest price Bitcoin has ever been in US dollars worldwide, $126,185. Guess what? You just wait. You just wait because at some point in 2020, probably 2026, maybe 2027, but probably 2026, Bitcoin will be above $183,000. And you can spend Bitcoin that you bought for $126,000. You can spend it when Bitcoin's $183,000, and you will be more than 30% off every single thing you buy. So when you have an asset that always bounces back, no matter how much it dips, it always bounces back. It means as long as you're patient enough, you can buy the Bitcoin at one price, wait. Sometimes you're waiting weeks, sometimes you're waiting months. In the modern world of Bitcoin, you're typically not waiting years. In the early days of Bitcoin, sometimes the dips were so radical that you would have to wait, a year or two. But that was before the Bitcoin ETFs. That was just a different time. So you buy the Bitcoin. Sometimes you have to be patient for weeks. Sometimes you have to be patient for months. Eventually, the Bitcoin will be substantially higher than the price you paid for it, and you can spend it at that substantially higher price. And the more you'll do that, the more you will ask yourself the question, why do I not have more of my assets in Bitcoin? If I can keep doing this, instead of buying the Bitcoin once, selling it once, and not having any Bitcoin, you eventually do what I do, which is you accumulate more and more and more Bitcoin so that you're always accumulating new Bitcoin with any money you have that's in any other form, such as US dollars. You're always accumulating additional Bitcoin with your plan to spend it in the future, but you also are always spending Bitcoin that is massively appreciated from the past, which is how I've been living for free for the last 3 years. I bought Bitcoin in late 2022, and I started spending that Bitcoin within a month of when I bought it in 2022, and the Bitcoin appreciated faster than when I spent it. So the Bitcoin was getting spent, it was appreciating, it was getting spent, it was appreciating, it was being spent, it was appreciating, and I've lived for free for more than 3 years. Now, in addition to that, which I track completely separately as its own thing, I am also accumulating as much additional Bitcoin for long-term savings on top of what I'm living for free on. So I'm living for free on 18 months of living expenses I bought in 2022, and I've been living for free for the last 3 years with no end in sight because I have 3 more years of runway left to go, or 2.7, 2.6, whatever, substantially more than 18 months. But I intend to do the same thing. I'm constantly buying Bitcoin for the very long term. I'm always spending Bitcoin that I bought. Maybe it was last year, maybe the year before, maybe the year before that. And for my day-to-day expenses, that's all covered from Bitcoin that I bought in 2022, and I've been living for free for 3 years. So the way to insulate yourself from inflation in 2026 is buy Bitcoin right now, wait for it to appreciate, spend it when it's appreciated, and use money that increases purchasing power as you go. Radically different than the US dollar, which only ever loses value.